Before Pathway, it was a bit messy. I was in a relationship that was just, I don't know, going nowhere. I really struggled with, and I'd come out of a relationship, a long-term relationship of like over 20 years. So I was in a bit of a mess, and I had children. I just wanted to be doing something different, and I was crying out for a change, but I didn't know what to do.
I had a very, very long life full of drugs and alcohol, really, and this is where I used to wait to go and get my instructions to go around the corner and score speed.
I have suffered with mental health illness for quite a number of years now, and that made my life fairly unstable, so I wasn't really in a very good place.
I came from quite a dysfunctional upbringing where I was given up by my birth mother and birth father. I was adopted into a family where there was a lot of anger and aggression, so I just basically didn't feel loved.
Before Pathway, it was a bit off the rails. I split up with my missus of 19 years, so that wasn't much good. So I went and stopped in a tent at the bottom of a mate's garden for 18 months. I find when I'm feeling depressed and suicidal, then I don't know what I'm doing.
I was brought up around Christians, so I thought I already knew it all. But really, I think it was just head knowledge. My partner became aggressive, and then I was caught in a domestic abuse situation, and I couldn't get out of that.
I remember ever since the earliest thoughts that I can remember of growing up, I always felt a fear. There was always an emptiness inside me. When I was growing up, I seen a lot of violence and a lot of crime growing up, which intensified that fear, which just made me fearful even more. I could be in a classroom with loads of kids and I just felt like I was on my own. My dad, he was never there from a kid. My dad was a gambler and a drug addict and a burglar. And then from a really young age as well, I started to go to local authorities because I was too young to go to prison. So I was in and out secure units, remand houses, up and down the country.
At times it was pretty painful because obviously I had to face some of the stuff that I'd done and what I was doing and the changes that needed to make. And also, while I was on Pathway, my first husband died. He took his own life. So, but the timing of that was I had the people around me to help me through that really intense time.
I really opened my eyes, and for the first time I actually saw what it all meant and why Jesus had died for me, and how lucky I was that he had. So I gave my life to Jesus, and and I just knuckled down to the year of sobriety and cleanness and singleness, which was the most difficult bit for me, I think, at the time. And my life's just transformed since then.
Over time, it became really helpful because it was a space where I could say anything, and my mentors both were able to at least empathise or relate to what I was saying, and that was really helpful. In the week, it became like an anchor, so whereas I was struggling to manage in a lot of other ways, this was a point that was the same every week, and it did really help me feel a bit more, I suppose, secure.
Yeah, started to move away from my old friends, started to make new friendships, because that was a great thing about Pathway, that there was people on Pathway that I could relate to, and there was people that had not the same sort of background, but similar backgrounds. So we started to hang out with each other. We were having time with each other on a Friday, having sort of prayer time and worship time together. We'll go to a church in Solihull on a Tuesday, and we'll just hang out. And actually, we got on really, really well. So it was a great adventure, and I'm really glad that I've done it.
Now I'm going to a small group meeting, which I'm enjoying doing because it gets me out. Otherwise, I tend to stay in a lot, and I don't want to go out.
I was helped in every aspect of getting free from the toxic relationship I was in, and I was supported by Pathway we're going through the court process of protecting the children. I was sent on various courses. I got sent on a counselling course. I got qualifications in understanding addictive behaviour, mental training for the future. So I had lots of opportunities were opened up to me.
For me, it worked really well. So I had two mentors in Pathways. You had one that was coming from a similar background to me, and one that didn't. So one that had lived a middle class life, a job, never been in trouble, and then one that had been to prison, been in trouble. So to get the input of them both was really good. So I couldn't lie to one because you're lying, come on, I've been where you're at, and the other one was like, have you thought about it like this, or like that?
So now I actually run Pathway, which is unbelievable. I think it's about 10 or 11 years later. I actually manage the whole Pathway project. It's just happened over time. I've got Jesus in my life, and you know, I'm working in this church, and like, you know, it's just normal life to me now. Yeah.
During my time on Pathway, I felt God speak to me very clearly about setting up a community farm. One of my mentors had also had a very similar sense of calling. So we kind of said, okay, let's go for it. And that is why I am standing here with two rather badly behaved horses next to me, because this is Pilgrim's Christian Community Farm, which essentially was born out of Pathway.
Now I'm the centre manager for a Christian charity called Christians Against Poverty, where we get people out of debt. But we also have the privilege of seeing many people come to Christ, but not just come to Christ, we disciple people, so their lives can be changed as well.
I head up the pastoral care for the church that I'm in now, and my relationship has deepened and matured with God, and He continues to be faithful to me in everything.
I've got a full-time job. I've held the job down now for 2.5 years. Before that I had a part-time job as well. Up until I was 27, 28, I've never had a job in my life. But to have a full-time job now, it's just absolutely amazing. I'm part of a church, part of a community. I like to give back now. I like to reach out to people in the same position that I was in, say there's hope. When I was in that position, there was no hope, it was hopeless.
We've worked through so much, and it's amazing what God can do, and the changes, you know, from a broken family and a mess to creating what is an amazing opportunities and family, and just I have a future, and that's not something I thought I had.